Hi, One Stars and fellow YouTubians. Cynthia here with Tea with the Universe. We're just waiting for Kazarie to join. So while we wait for her, let's talk about our up and coming events in the weekly wand. So we have Sacred Soundscapes with Kevin Gaudette, aka The Godfather, on Saturday, October 9th from 8 p.m. until 9:30 p.m. at Clarity here in Edmonton. And for markets, we have the Alberta Avenue Community League Market coming up. That's every Thursday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. We have one this Thursday, September 17th, and then again September 24th, October 1st, and October 8th. The Vendor Connections second annual Schools Back Act Normal Market is Saturday, September 26th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then Sunday, September 27th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Norwood Legion, again here in the city. And I think that's all we have for up and coming events. The weekly wand program schedule, we have Wake Up with the Wand every second Monday at 7:15 a.m. Tea with the Universe every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Live energy readings the first and third Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. So tune in for that on the 17th, which is also my birthday. So I'll be giving extra special readings that day because it is my birthday. So again, we're just waiting for Kazarie to join. Let me see what else. I'm looking outside and I'm seeing there's not a lot of wind right now, but earlier today there were a lot of leaves falling. So many leaves falling from the trees. There are not a lot of leaves left on the tree in my backyard. However, a lot of nice color. So that's good. What else to say on this somewhat chilly Tuesday evening? I can tell you about my tea. I'm drinking my favorite holiday spice tea from Melissa at Hayward Eclectic. So I'll put that information, actually, I can probably put that in the information right now in the comments. Oh, it's not letting me post. Oh, and here comes Kazarie. Let's add her to the stream. There we go. Hi, Kazarie. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can. Perfect. Thank you for joining me.
Yes. Sorry I'm late. It's been kind of a crazy weekend.
That's okay. Why don't you tell? You're cutting out a lot. I'm not sure if it's a mic issue.
I'm not sure.
Oh, you're fine now.
Okay.
Yeah. So why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do?
Okay, so my name is Kazarie. About two and a half months ago, I started a crystal and gift shop. And a little bit before that, I started getting into like meditations and, oh my gosh, just all kinds of things. There's a whole nother world out there that I never had explored before. So I kind of don't even know where to start to answer that question. It's so much stuff.
Well, talk about your web design.
Okay. So I am familiar with Wix, and I've also shopped around different website builders, and over years, actually, I've come to prefer Wix, and so I do help small businesses and entrepreneurs who just need help like getting started, getting things initially set up. I help people do that and get their websites set up the way they want it, so that it's ready for like e-commerce store, yeah, so just kind of like the beginning stages of getting them going, basically.
So, and if anyone wants to see her work, check out theweeklywand.ca because Kazarie did design that for me. And I think it's actually fabulous. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
That. Tell us a little bit about Lovely Things.
Okay. So I've always kind of been drawn to crystals and rocks. My grandfather was actually a prospector more as a hobby because he wasn't super successful at it. But it was kind of a joke. Like he was just, we were all waiting for him to find gold to make our family rich. But anyway, so I've always kind of been into it. But like when I was younger, my mom's like, those are rocks. We don't need to carry rocks around. So I wasn't really able to like hold on to them until a couple years ago. One of my favorite museums is a Nevada History Museum. And in the Nevada history, there's a lot of mining, a lot of gems that can be found in Nevada. So I kind of picked up a few things in their gift shop and then was kind of like, reignited my love for crystals and the like energies that they give off. So I decided to go ahead and start my own. Initially, it was like a subscription box service, but I'm kind of adapting to what my customers are telling me that they want. So I've designed a few kits that should be up. They were supposed to be up, well, like I said, it's been a long weekend, so they'll be up very soon. But like I put together like crystals for like abundance and put together a kit for that. My favorite one that I put together is the 2020 survival kit. So it's kind of like a really big piece of sage and like different kinds of crystals to help keep you calm, give you energy, and like kind of for like the roller coaster of everything that's going on. And then I also I sell, you know, the little pieces individually, and I really focus on offering everything at affordable prices. So a lot of times, like my prices will be lower than most other shops that I do occasionally price check. But the whole idea is to make it accessible to more people and for more people to be able to discover the energy of crystals. And I know myself, I've had some very interesting experiences with crystals and just for example, like I was going through a particularly tough situation and we didn't really know what to say or how to address what was going on, but I knew that I had to address what was going on, and it was like very serious. And I actually at that time had an celestial quartz crystal, and that really, it was crazy. It was like, it was almost as if like the cup would just poured over all of the sudden. Everything just started coming up and it was eloquent and it made sense. It was what needed to be said. And then shortly thereafter, like once that situation resolved, that crystal actually disappeared on me. So that'll happen too once they, you know, it's funny too.
The purpose, right?
Yeah, and it's funny
Yeah.
because the only reason why I had that celestial quartz is because I had ordered, or I had gotten the name of a crystal during a meditation, and I was like, okay. So I started. So I did find the crystal, and it's actually one that was really hard to find. But I found the crystal, and the seller sent it to me with a gift, and the gift was the celestial quartz. So it's just funny how you know, all these things kind of line up the way that they do.
That's awesome. The universe, I find, always has a way to get through to us, always has our back, sends us what we need when we need it, even if we don't realize it.
Right. Yep. Yeah, it was interesting. It was like a real experience of just how powerful the crystals can actually be. So it was really neat. I don't know how else to explain it. It was just like, oh my, like, it's crazy.
Well,
What
I
about
think
you?
anyone that has a relationship with crystals understands exactly what you're saying because The right crystal always seems to appear at the right time. And I
Mhm.
think that happens with a lot of people, if not everyone. It probably does happen with everyone, but I think some people are just oblivious to it. There are times when we say, give me a sign.
Yeah.
We get a sign, and then we'll say, give me a sign to prove that was a sign.
Yeah.
We don't trust the universe. So sometimes we miss those little gifts that we're given.
Yes, that's true. I have too, kind of on the flip side of that, I often give a gift, a small tumble or whatever, with the orders that do come through. And it's funny how many times people are like, "Oh, hey, do you have this thing?" And then they'll like get to their thank you gift, and it'll be the exact thing that they were asking about. Like that just happened to me a couple weeks ago. It's happened a few times, so it's always fun. Like, oh, good, that means I chose well because, like I said, it's not. Yes, I'm doing this both as a way to work on, a way to support myself, but also because I want to share. So it's like that's more important to me, and giving those little gifts is just like a small way I can kind of give back. And I actually have these little I don't have what out, but I have these little bags that I put like my information on, and I put like a little crystal in it, and I often will like give those as gifts to like my waiters or my cashiers or like, and most people like sometimes people are like, "What is this?" But they're really nice about it. And then other people are like, "Yes," like so excited. So it's so fun to see the other people who have already discovered crystals. And then it's fun to see the people who haven't at all. And they're like, "Oh, what's this for?" Like they get all kind of like, it's pretty, it's shiny, there's the cool thing about crystals, it's like it's not just about how it feels, like it's something you can visually appreciate too.
Yeah, absolutely. And then do you find that when you do give, I know you said with your gifts, you give crystals sometimes,
Hmm.
but when you give them to your waiter or your waitress or your cashier, do you find that the one that you've chosen for them is the correct energy fit?
Um, for the random people, I don't really get the feedback. So I can't really answer that question. I just have to trust my instincts when I'm grabbing them, when I'm putting them together, and hope that they land in the right hands.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure it all goes where it's supposed to go. I am a firm believer in that.
Yeah, and even if they end up regifting it to someone else, like
Mhm.
that person that needed them. So it's like, the cool thing that I've learned this year is that, it's not always so obvious. And sometimes you got to get the go take a little step to the side in order to take the step forward, where we always just want to be straight
Mhm.
forward and just constantly moving forward, but I'm like sometimes bad things have to happen to make room for better things. And it's like, I'm learning too that even just like within your space and having the energies of the different items, like sometimes you have to clean out your, don't tell my mother this. She's been telling me this for years and I only just got it. But she's like, you got to clean out all the old energy to make room
For the new.
for new energy, or for that lighter, brighter feeling. When your apartment starts to feel kind of stale. Um, I do all kinds of things for that now. I'm like constantly lighting incense, and it all just really kind of goes together.
It does. It really does. And I'm a firm believer with that as well. You've got to release the old to make way for the new, because if you don't make that room, there's no room for it to come into your life. Like
Mhm.
that's with friends, that's with clothing, like material things, energy. It's with everything. You have to release what no longer serves your greater good in
Mhm.
order to be able to get that abundance that's waiting for you. And with that being said, it's the same with, like you said, sometimes things go wrong, but if nothing ever went wrong, we wouldn't learn to appreciate what goes right. So
Mhm.
they go hand in hand.
Right, yeah, unfortunately, and it sucks because I think about this all the time, like, why can't life just be easier? And then it's like, well, if sure, we can give you an easier life, but then you have to do another one to learn the lessons that are from this one. And I'm like, like it's so funny because it's like you want to be like, you want to talk to yourself in a way and be like, why did we choose this? And but at the same time, like knowing that information, I feel like could kind of distract us from what we are supposed to learn here. So it's like a careful balance, I think. Just thinking like I was curious recently, like really curious about past lives and how that works and who was I in this past life? Like what led me here? And then that's kind of the conclusion that I came to is just, well, you can find those things out, but it's like not necessarily for your best interest and doing what you need to do in this life and being focused on the now and the present.
Well, and with that being said, it is okay to talk to yourself. I talk to myself all the time.
Yeah. Yes. I'm not saying like no one should look into their past lives or that there's not useful information there, but I think an obsession on that particular subject is not necessarily for our best interest in getting what we need to out of this life.
Well, and you have to be ready, willing, and able to hear what, to actually accept what you're going to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to go into it with an open mind and know that you may not come back being royalty. You may come back being someone that, maybe wasn't really respected, someone that was feared, someone that maybe didn't always do good things. But with that being said, we have to remember that that was the life we chose then, and this is the life we chose now. So,
Yeah. Yep. And it's
yeah.
interesting. But life is so much more fun when you look at it from a magical perspective and, when you see and the things that aren't there and when you trust in the energies of things that you can see, but everyone's like, what are you talking about? That's crazy. And it's like, it's really not though. So I like to explain it to people this way for people who are new to the idea of crystals.
Hmm.
So all of our food grows from the earth, right? That's indisputable. Um, and even animals, survive off the earth in order to grow to become food for the people who eat meat. But so, all these things, when we eat them, we say, oh, it gives me energy. It gives me energy when I eat XYZ, or I feel like this when I eat XYZ. But we refer to it as energy. And then there's this other thing called electricity that we also refer to as energy. But the funny thing about electricity is that you can't necessarily see it. You don't see, most of us probably don't understand the technology behind it or, how it works or even what it would look like if we were to see it regularly. We just flip our switch and things magically work, but it's still energy. And so I kind of think of crystals kind of in between the two. Crystals grow from the earth just like food. And, electricity is this form of energy that we can harness, but, we don't necessarily understand the way that it comes per se, not to the average person. And so crystals are kind of like in that middle ground. Like they have an energy, they grow from the earth. So why wouldn't they have an energy like everything else that grows from the earth? And they do grow, they take a very, very long time with specific conditions on the minerals that they become. Um, so, why, if the plants grow and we eat plants and we eat animals that come from the earth to give us energy, why would crystals that come from the earth not give us energy? But why, but maybe in a different way, like electricity, where it's not something we consume, it's something we kind of, feel, it's more by transference.
Hmm.
So that's how I like to explain the like why wouldn't they have energy when they come from the earth just like food does? But we use it
Well,
in today.
yeah, everything has energy. I mean, You can walk past something and feel the energy come off of it. You can walk past people, feel the energy come off of them, whether it's negative, whether it's positive. I
Mhm.
feel that everything I come in contact with, even if it's an inanimate object, they all carry some form of energy. So,
Right. But, for people like for me, where I was a few years ago, I grew up in a very structured religion. And like these kinds of things were like, oh no, like that's like
yeah.
witchcraft. And it's like, so it's a way of explaining it to someone who's new to
Mhm.
this world and, who hasn't experienced it for themselves. And because it's very easy not to notice that energy coming off from, like you mentioned, other people if
Yeah.
you're not attuned to it. Just like you can hear an orchestra and be like, oh, that sounds good, and not be able to pick out the different instruments because you didn't learn what each individual instrument sounds like. So it's really kind of the same thing.
Absolutely. And on that note, speaking of the energy and the foods and how we react to them, would you like to share with us? I believe you're creating nutritional menus.
Yes. So I've on and off kind of studied nutrition just on my own for several years. So I'm not a certified nutritionist, but I like I this these diet plans are based off of diets that I've done that were approved by a nutritionist, and kind of based on my progress back then, and how it affected me. Did I freeze? Okay, good. So I've been putting together meal plans with healthy food. Well, the really interesting about foods and meals is that it's as healthy as you make it when you make it yourself. And it's a lot of it is about what ingredients you pick. Are you picking the cheapest um, artificial sweetener filled item, or preservative filled, or are you picking something fresh and organic? And I think that matters. But getting a little sidetracked. But yes, I've been putting together these meal plans, and it's 3 meals a day with 3 snacks. The first week, I really overdid it, but that's the whole point, right? It's like a learning process. So then the second week, I had so many ideas left over from the first week that I just used that for week 2. And then for week 3, I kind of made some changes and put that out. I think I'm due for week 4. Like, I barely know what day of the week it is anymore. Like, everything is just woo. My next one will be coming out soon. And I have like a little blog kind of just saying like, okay, this is how it went for me. This is what happened when I followed it, or like, this is why I ended up not following it. Like, just kind of like, this is what's going on. Like, this is exactly how it's working, and, or not working. And maybe that's because I didn't exercise this week or what have you. But yeah, so I'm doing these meal plans, and I'm putting together like the recipes for the items in the meal plans, as well as a shopping list so that you can, quickly go through your fridge and say, do I have this? Do I need this? And then go to the grocery store. When I took the first list to the grocery store, I think I got in and out with everything I needed in like half an hour. It
Oh,
was the
wow.
most efficient shopping trip I have had in a long time. I didn't get a bunch of crap that wasn't already on my list because I knew what I needed to get while I was there. And of course, you leave a little room for flexibility. Like, instead of me saying, okay, eat a banana, I might say fresh fruit, because maybe you're like me and you're not a banana person. I don't like bananas. I
I'm
would
not a big banana person either. I really have to be in the mood for them.
I'm just, so it's like it leaves plenty of room for easy alternate items for something you don't like or have an allergy, or if you want to make it. It's not set up to be vegan, but again, it's the ingredients you choose. If you don't want to eat chicken, then substitute tofu or whatever. So I have a blog and I have a list that everyone can sign up for. Right now, I'm giving it to everyone for free, and just because. So what the reason why I started doing it was because my husband is having health issues and needed like to overhaul his diet like overnight. So I wanted to make it easy for him. And the biggest thing that like hurts my diet is when I'm hungry and I have nothing planned and I'm like, what am I gonna eat? And then it's like by the time that I figure out what I even want to eat, I'm like, I don't feel like cooking anymore, or like it's like too late, and I'm like, I need to eat now. Like I don't feel good, or so it kind of takes out like those problem areas of not having food ready to go when you're hungry, or just like what do I cook, or I don't know what ingredients to buy. Like it really takes out all the guesswork. So it made it super easy for my husband um, to eat healthy, just because if you haven't ever really studied or learned, you don't know where to start. It can be really overwhelming. So yeah, so that's kind of why I started doing it, and I was like, well, I'm doing it for me and my family. I might as well make it available to everyone else too.
Well, that's really thoughtful and grateful of you. That's nice.
Yeah, I was like, I lost like 5, 10 pounds. No, I lost like 4 pounds the first week, and then like another few more 4 pounds or something the second week. This week I didn't work out, and I have had a lot of things come up, and that's what happens. Life gets comes and happens, and you have to like I got to recalibrate and get back on track. And I'm sure I'll put all the juicy details in my blog about it. Like, okay, this is what happened. This is why I got really off track and gained 2 pounds this week. It's just that's how it is.
Yeah, it's up and down, right? But as long as it's consistency, you're
Right.
allowed to fall off the track, but be consistent. Get back on there, and don't beat yourself up if you take a few days off, right? Just
Yeah.
get back on, be consistent, and move forward.
And that's all you can do. And it's like, and I think a lot of people think that they're either healthy eating or not healthy eating, or it's like, oh, I get that one cheat day. And it's like, it's not really like that, because you can kind of have all those foods that you consider cheat foods if you just make it in a healthier way. So,
Moderation
for that.
accounts for so much.
Mhm. Yep. So, like I said, I'm not a certified nutritionist, but it's based off stuff that was. And if you take a look at it, you can see, just based off general knowledge of nutrition and the fact that you want to kind of hit the different color groups, hit the different food groups. Like you can see, there's a lot of fresh vegetables, there's a little bit of fresh fruit, there's a lot of lean proteins and stuff like that, nuts and whole foods, which I don't think anyone can argue with like a clean whole foods diet.
Mhm. Well, thank you for sharing everything that you do with us. In closing, is there anything that you would like to say or share with everyone?
Um, so if they're interested in joining my crystals group, I'm on Facebook. It's Lovely Things. Lovely is spelled Lovelee, because it's a play off my last name. And then I actually have a group called the Lovely Things Crystal Club, where people can kind of ask questions, and if they got something, they can't remember what it is, they can post a picture. So it's like more of a community, and it's more about learning about the crystals. So that would be a good page for anyone who just wants a little more information. I have people reach out to me all the time, and I give them my advice. Like if they're like, oh, what's a good crystal for anxiety? Or so I'm happy to answer those kinds of questions as well. Or if, people just, I mean, you heard my spiel on crystal energy already. So
Well, and we can add all of your information in the comments as well, so people can reach out if they want.
sure, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you everyone for watching. I know you could be anywhere doing anything, and you chose to be here with me, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Kazarie. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us.
Thank you.
And, pardon me?
I said thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. So take care, everyone. Namaste, and thank you.
Bye.